Well, I grew up in Edmonton. I was born in Edmonton. My dad was the mayor of Edmonton at one time. He was in business there. And we always liked baseball was the main thing. Like we had a place called the Old Brick Schoolhouse. And right next to it was this ballpark. And, you know, just maybe 200 yards away. And we would have games, you know, like they'd say uptown versus the downtown. Some people lived from 4th Avenue up was the uptown. Downtown was from 4th Avenue down. And people would move on, you know, different places. And so they got together and have games all the time.
It was some years later that you started that collecting used sports equipment for kids that couldn't afford it, right?
Well, I didn't like the idea of kids, as I told you about Depression days and that. Didn't have the money, their parents didn't have money to they're probably sons of different people who worked the railroad. You know, they used to have them what they called a brakeman on the railroad, and some of them didn't, and, you know, different people. And like, you know, an engineer, anyway. See, Edmonton was a big railroad town, a very big railroad town. And it started out, there was only about 1,500 people, and now it's about, I think, 8,000. But they used to, I remember standing on the main drag in Edmonton, and I'd catch every man. They used to cash their checks every 2 weeks in the railroad station here. See, they put away so much that they get or collect their checks too. And I remember standing there and collecting maybe $50. Hey, give me $1. Come on, Mike, you know, give me help out the boy. Well, we used to collect a lot of money there like that.
Kids in education.
Yeah.
Okay.
Edmonton education is it's important for a young kid to get an education with a sport combined. And I remember players coming here, and some of them didn't have enough money to go home. I remember when 2 of them went out to Calder, which is a railroad shops and everything out there, got in a boxcar, wound up the wrong way. They went to Edmonton instead of the West Coast.
There is a picture of you surrounded by, remember you were telling the story earlier about how that big truck showed up with all of those sporting goods and it just literally drowned you in them? We got all this sporting goods, and we used to get somebody to volunteer their truck, you know, some of their fathers of these kids, you know, they weren't old enough to drive some of them. In those days you had to be 21, I think it was, so to drive. And they would get their father to go on and collect some of this stuff. That's the way it was.
Sports Central.
Sports Central is something that a bunch of volunteers got together, and they're putting all this stuff together. And I've seen the stuff come in there, you'd swear it would never be used again. Never put skates or baseball gloves or, you know, different things, shoes, and it'd come out of there just like new, just like a factory. Still is. There's a lot of people volunteer. They do a lot of work to help kids. I remember we had a game one time, and somebody put a rule in, you had to have equipment. Well, it happened there's only 3 players, and so they said they canceled the game. So I remember this fellow's name was Gooley White, and he got together and started getting them equipment, and so they could organize a game.
Advice to kids, real strong.
Yeah, well, it still is, you know, equipment is very expensive now. And there's a lot, I have people call me all the time. I send them over to Sports Central, and they're so good, these people. You know, there's a bunch of them that have kids that are old, some of them are retired, and the way they put that stuff together is really something to see.
So any final advice? Want to sing, or?
When you talk about advice, I think that a lot of people keep stuff in people's basement. Now, I walked into a basement one day, and this family had 2 kids. One of them went to the University of Minnesota, and one of them went to Minneapolis down there, and to some college. And I went down there after the kids come back, graduated, looked in the basement. I said, "What do you do? Why you let them all that stuff? You know something? There's close to $1,000 worth of sports equipment. When people put it in the basement, don't say nothing about it." And then finally they come along, and I've done that lots of times. I've had a person tell me one time, "Look, there's a fellow here that's got some equipment you might be able to use." I went over there, and you should have seen the equipment. He was going to throw it out. But they fix it up so good over at Sports Central, different places, make it just like new.
And as a member of the Edmonton Old Timers Baseball Association,
yeah,
you're part of the group that we're still giving scholarships to students for baseball purposes.
Well, I don't anymore because I haven't got the time, and another than that, it's not the case of time. Well, I used to tell them to, like John Ducey. I used to say, "John, there's a couple of good kids here. He'd get them in places, USC and different, University of California, Southern California, and get them set up."
Well, the Edmonton Old Timers are still doing that.
They are. They're great people.